Greens YouTube, back for another video, another short, and this response to Hercules1, I think that's how you say that, who is one of the newest members of the RPG community, and has done some interesting videos over the short time he's been with us, and as I promised in my resolution, I'm going to be responding to more and more of them. So what I'm also going to do is, for the people that I've not been watching every video, I'm going to try and, when I've got time, to go back and watch previous videos. That way I can get a better idea of not only where you're coming from, but if there's anything you want to talk about, any topics that spark my imagination within your videos, and I can respond to them much like I'm doing now. I hope you get a lot of replies from the circles, and I'm going to log this as a video reply to your video as well, so people can see where you're coming from and go over and subscribe to you. Right. Not that I'm, I'll tell you what though, not that I'm a member, or not that I'm a leading member of the RPG community anymore. That honour goes to, I think, the Gentleman Gamer outranks me. Or I think he almost doubles my subscriber count, which is a bit, because I thought I was well ahead, but then again, I suppose it's not really a race or a contest. However, on to the topic at hand, because I've been doing this for a minute now, I haven't sped on the subject. Basically, Hercules asks, how do you start up an RPG group? And as I've done this several times myself, I think I might be able to give you some pointers. I'm not saying I know exactly what you should be doing, and you should follow me step by step, but I've got a couple of tips for you which you might find useful. And this is for face-to-face gaming as opposed to Skype gaming. Firstly, you've got in touch with several people in your community who already roleplay, and they are a great source of player base, and you'd be surprised that there are probably more people in your college or university who actually roleplay than you think do. So the best way to start really would be to, and here's the key thing, is to pick a night that you want to game on. And try to make sure it's not a night where the local student population goes out on a bit of a drink, or like to party or celebrate, or if, like, say for example, all assessments have to be in by Friday, do it on Thursday night is a terrible idea, because people are probably going to be crunching or doing last minute revisions to the work before they hand it in. Also, weekends tend to be a bit hit and miss. I used to try and roleplay on Saturday back in the day, and I stopped. I completely gave it up as an idea and abandoned it completely, and if anyone ever brings it up, I flat out refuse them, because I found that Saturdays is the worst night to roleplay on, because it's the night that everybody wants to go out, or it's the night when a party is arranged, like say a barbecue or something like that. That is when people want to go out, or there's a birthday party or anything like that. Sundays I tend to find is the best night, possibly a Thursday. But it may be different for your area, but pick a night and stick with it, and actually set aside time and have a game ready. I know that it's appealing to you to contact people in the local area and kick about ideas, say what night's best for you, what game's best for you. But the honest truth is that if you do that, you're going to beat around the bush for potentially months before you get a group together, and I suppose you want to start playing now. So my advice in this regard would be to pick a night and stick with it if you can, unless of course all your players come back to you with a different night, then there's no harm in changing it, which is something I've recently done. We used to play on a Tuesday night, and it was causing some scheduling conflicts, so we all decided to game on Wednesday instead, and the problem was solved. And the other reason why we were role-playing on the Tuesday night to start with is because it was an ideal night for us 3 years ago when we first started gaming together as a group, and obviously situations change and you have to accommodate for that. Also, with it being college-based, try not to do massive long-term campaigns, because people are going to move away for the end of the term or the semester, whatever terminology you're using. So try to have a short campaign, possibly something that will last, say, a month or two, and then go from there. If you want to continue the story, then you can do so. Put a new bad guy in, a new objective, and they can aim for that. You can still do it with the same characters even, but give them a definite ending every few months or so that they can actually... You could actually end it at that point if you wanted to, and everyone will be satisfied with the conclusion of the story. Second, try to find out if there is a reliable way of contacting other members of your college population or your friend population, Possibly, maybe there's a notice board in a local game shop if you have one. Pop an advert in there with your telephone number or your email address. Let them know what game you're playing. So pick the game beforehand so people can base their ideas upon that game. Try to stick with popular games like Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons or World of Darkness, because they're the ones that are going to draw the most people in. And when you've got your group together and you've played a few games, then you can go on to other systems. But starting off with, say, I don't know, an All Flesh Must Be Eaten group is not going to get as much appeal because not everybody wants to do that, or at least not initially. It's great for convention play, not amazing for a starting campaign for a group that have not played together before. With Dungeons and Dragons, for example, or Pathfinder, it's very easy to go into an established group. Everyone can get together, decide who's going to be the healer, who's going to be the fighter, who's going to be the mage, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. If there is a local game store and you are trying to pluck members of your college as a player base, is there a notice board in the cafeteria that a lot of people walk past? Make sure the logo appears on the post if you are going to put one up, again with your telephone number or your email address, because that draws the eye immediately. Make sure it's full colour as well, because if you walk in, say, to your next class and you see a poster with, I don't know, the Warhammer logo on it, and you're a Warhammer player or you've read about Warhammer, you'll immediately your eyes will be drawn to it from that association. Try to get the actual logo rather than just writing the words Dungeons and Dragons or writing the word Pathfinder. Try and get the logo in full colour. Also, if there's a forum for the college or the university you're at, then see if there is a sub-forum to that for social groups. Usually you'll tend to find there is of some kind, and post a comment in there. Again, lay out your proposal. I want to play an X night, I want to play Y game, and I've got room for X many players. And also work at sorry, I should have mentioned this before, work at your venue in advance as well. It could be your house, your dorm room, anything like that, and make sure that it's going to be a good location for you, going to have ready access to. You want obviously someone with a table and about half a dozen chairs, and you can go from there. And I suppose that's really it. Just get yourself out there. I mean, obviously talking to the few people you know about roleplay is great. Walk up to them, invite them and say, look, I'm going to be role-playing on X night, playing Y game, would you like to come? Yes or no? And let them come back to you in a week's time with an answer. Don't pester them about that, because that's not going to get you any attention at all. But basically, and right, you mentioned this before, and I think this is probably a slip. I don't think there's any deliberate malice intent to it, but you said make people roleplay. You can't make people roleplay. You tend to find that in terms of roleplay, you get one of two people. People that have already done it before, or people that know people who are subtly interested. So you can potentially, if you're in a guild that of an online RPG, for example, a new Star Wars, you can talk to your guild and, you know, if it's a local guild, you can say, well, I'm going to be running a game like this on this night if anybody's interested. And that kind of thing, basically. So I'm probably just repeating myself now, so I'm going to leave it at that. But that's my advice. I'm not going to say it's going to work for everybody, and I don't guarantee it'll work for yourself. I know, Heckles, that you really want to play Ars Magica. I've played Ars Magica before. It's an okay game. I'm not a big fan of it myself, and I really don't think it's a good one to start with. You can sell them on the idea of it later. Try something simple. Try Pathfinder, try Dungeons and Dragons, try World of Darkness, because they're the ones that are going to get the most attention. Okay, guys? Ta-ra.